Hey everyone, and welcome back to my devlog. This is where I'll be showing you all the behind the scenes progress about my game, Finality, cozy city builder roguelite game that takes place in a dungeon in the sky. I'll be sharing my behind the scenes, new features, and all the challenges I faced while making this game. So, let's get started. Day one was kind of a fun one. I spent a majority of my day working on a bug. I'm implementing a feature where you can roll around. I want the player to be able to roll around and dodge attacks, and I think rolling is the best way to go about that. The only issue is I couldn't get the player to roll through the enemy. So I spent the day trying to figure that out. And afterwards, I got a little burnt out, so I started working on some more art assets for the game. I really feel like this table adds a lot to the environment and makes it feel a little bit more lively. Day two came around and I started to work on a little bit more art. I ended up making a pit asset. So pretty much if the player falls in the pit, they're done for. I didn't do too much more on this day, so let's take it to day three. Day three is where things start to get a little bit interesting. Today I started my enemy's AI for the first time. Their pathfinding, their patrolling, their attacking, all of this is something that I want to get done in this devlog. I think it's really important to the game and how the game feels itself. I know this isn't going to take me a day. It's probably going to take me a few, if not a few weeks, because this is something I'm new to and I never really worked with it before. But that's okay. So I spent a majority of the day kind of researching the way I want to go about it, working with the nav mesh, and also trying to implement it a little bit. Additionally to this, I ended up making a UI text box. I just made the art for it. I haven't actually implemented any text in the box yet, but I'll save that for another day. And I also ended up making a booth for the town. Day four was a fun day. I actually found out one of the mistakes I've been making with my art assets this whole time, and it has to do with y-axis pivoting. If I want the player to end up behind any object in the game, his y-axis positioning is going to be the key to this. And it's something I kind of been ignoring, and honestly I just didn't really know about until I saw a video on YouTube. So now I have to go in and kind of fix that and fix all the art assets and make sure their pivot points are set up correctly in order for the character to be behind and in front of objects when it's necessary. This is something I haven't really heard talked about a lot, even though I know it's a crucial step to any top-down game like this. So if you're making a top-down game like me, I would look into it. As for my nav mesh progress, I'm making a little bit of progress and I'm still getting a little confused on how I want to go about it. This is definitely going to require some more research for the time being, but I'm going to continue doing it for the next few days. So unfortunately, over the course of this devlog, my cat passed away. I believe he was 10 or 11 years old. He was a tuxedo cat and his name was Jajong. I love him dearly and I'm sad to see him go. So, in order to honor him, I'm going to add him to my game. He's going to be the fishing NPC. You'll go to him and you can talk to him for all your shop needs whenever it comes to anything fishing related in the game, which I plan to include later in the development process. But for now, I just wanted to make some art for him just to honor him. Rest in peace, Jajong. But yeah, as for day 5, that's kind of what I worked on. Just adding Jajong to the game. As we're going into day 6, I think I'm starting to come to the conclusion that nav mesh system isn't what I want to do. That AI systems are a lot harder than they seem. So I'm still deciding what route I want to go down when it comes to talking about the NPC's AI system, and I'm going to give that a few days to think it over. Day 7 was a bit quiet in terms of new gameplay elements, and I spent a lot of the day just working on some game art. I really want to spend the day getting some animations done for my main enemy that I have coming up, and I think just giving it some basic animations, even if they do end up getting reworked in the final game, I think just doing this now and spending some time on it now will really help the game feel more together in its demo stages. Unfortunately, day 8 and day 9, kind of a waste. I really dug into the system's AI and thought I was doing more research about what I thought I wanted to do, but I ended up scrapping this and just working with A-Star instead. I really recommend A-Star if you're looking to do enemy AI. It's a really big help. Their nav mesh system is amazing. And they offer a free trial, so if that's something you want to try out, I would recommend going to their website and trying it out. As for day 10, I don't know if you guys remember me mentioning the y-axis pivoting, but that actually led me into quite an infuriating bug. When I'm working with my tile asset, after I pivoted all of my tile asset art, it ended up making the spacing on the grid weird, and it took me a few days to figure out how to fix that. Fortunately now I do have it fixed, but I'm not really sure how I fixed it, to be honest. So I'm trying to hope that this never happens again. I have a small understanding of what I did and how it works a little bit better now, so I have learned from it, but unfortunately, I'm just going to hope it doesn't happen again. But everything for now seems to work. But additionally, for this day, we do have some good news in terms of the AI system. I did implement a knockback system. So now whenever you can hit an enemy, they will get knocked back, which I think is pivotal for this game. Also, I started working on Jajang's asset a little bit. I wasn't too happy with it, and I know it's nowhere near being done. I'll finish it later on in the game, but for now, it is what it is. As for day 11, this was another day of game art. I started working on the forge area, which will allow the player to upgrade their weapons and do crafting and all sorts of weapons for the dungeon. And I was also rearranging the main area a little bit and starting to organize how I want that to be mapped out. And just like yesterday when I was working on Jajang sprite, I did a little bit more today, and I ended up making a Jajang booth, and I think I reorganized it a little bit, and I think it's a lot better. So you guys can let me know what you think in the comments. Day 12 saw a lot of big progress happening in the town. This was the day where I worked a majority on game art, and I really wanted to start pushing to get this town feeling more finalized. Unfortunately, I didn't really get that to finish, but I did add a lot to the town. I added tenting areas for residents to sleep in, a cooking area for the player to cook. I started adding pathing, and I actually made a town design in my notebook for how I want the town to look when it's done. This brings me to day 13 through 16. I'm kind of going to summarize a lot of this because this was Thanksgiving break for me in America. I ended up going home and doing a majority of my work on my laptop, so I wasn't able to record. But I did add a few things to the game that I kind of want to share with you. So one thing that I worked on was a new enemy type. I'm not really sure how I feel about it, and I'll try and include a picture on the screen now, so you guys can tell me what you feel about it. I don't know if it fits the vibe I'm going for in my game. It's a little spookier than some of my other stuff, but I do think it's cool and it's a cool concept, and it could be something really fun. As for the rest of the stuff, I spent my Thanksgiving break going over all of the enemies, AI, and combat system, and I got a lot of work done. I made it so that everyone is taking damage, everyone can die, and everyone takes knockback. It's finally starting to feel more finalized, and you can finally have a fight with some of the NPCs, and it feels really good to see that. Additionally, over my Thanksgiving break, this was the time when I decided where this game is going to finally take place. So this takes place in a dungeon that's magically been transported to the sky and is in the clouds. So I added in some fog and some clouds underneath the dungeon just to give you more of a effect of where you are. And as for day 17, I'm finally back from Thanksgiving, and I got a lot of my combat done, and everything is starting to feel a lot better. So I started working on some cover art just for like the game's Steam page whenever I get that going, just to like kind of ease me back into it. And I reviewed all of my code and everything from Thanksgiving break. I'm fairly happy with it. It definitely needs some tweaks and some polishing, but for now, it's going to do its job. Finally, for day 18, I did some polishing on the combat just to make it feel a little bit better and for me to understand the system that I've created a little bit more. I'm pretty happy with it in the end, and it feels fun to actually fight the NPCs, which makes me happy. I was having a lot of fun just kind of spawning in NPCs and battling them and stuff. It still needs a little bit more polish, but in the end, I think it's a good system. And that's a wrap. If you guys enjoyed this behind the scenes little progress video I've been working on, let me know what your favorite part was in the comments. Also let me know what you're interested to see in videos coming up. I've been adding a lot of work to this game, and honestly it's very time consuming, but I'm having a lot of fun. So if you guys are enjoying the game, please let me know down below. And until I see you guys next time, later.